But to understand what's happening with Pewdiepie, you have to understand the entire globalist program and that it's going into high gear and its final phase of the extinction of speech. Because censorship only works if you bring in total oppression, total monoculture. And the political correctness is that. It destroys all knowledge. It attacks all information as hurtful and bad. It tears apart words. It destroys minds. It assassinates the truth. It uses journalism to destroy journalism. It's an inversion of the Renaissance economy and system. So I can go through hundreds of examples. I have the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, Vox, you name it, showing Pewdiepie, who has 100 million, right at 100 million subscribers. Over, last time I checked, it was something like 100 billion views. The multiple YouTube channels, I said 100 billion. And that's not to mention all his other platforms. So he's bigger than 5 Oprah Winfrey's in her entire history of viewers. She's big. He's bigger than Drudge Report when it comes to people actually watching his videos. Drudge Report is the second biggest site in the world, biggest news site in the world. Billions of visitors a month. Pewdiepie is the biggest television personality the world's ever seen. More eyeballs have watched him, more people have seen him in the modern last 5 years or so than anybody else. You could argue that somebody like Clint Eastwood's bigger, yes, or Ronald Reagan are better known. But when it comes to the youth, my 16-year-old son, my 14-year-old daughter, my 11-year-old daughter, all they talk about is Pewdiepie. And this is for about 3-4 years. We don't let the younger one watch it, but that's all they hear about at school. Private school, doesn't matter. So, who is this guy? 3 or 4 years ago, he started talking about me some. I would get massive traffic off of it, and I went and watched it. Okay, he's a gamer guy. He's kind of liberal. He tells a lot of jokes. He's a comedian. He's funny. Okay. He made fun of me hilariously. I loved it. I like being made fun of if it's being done good-naturedly, because, I mean, I laugh at myself sometimes. So this guy is numero uno. He's not gangster rap teaching your kids how to kill themselves. He's not into drugs. He's into fitness, but he likes video games. Over 100 billion people have watched him if you combine his YouTube channels. He's got 100 million subscribers. A couple years ago, Disney tried to take him over. He wouldn't do what they said. So they had YouTube demonetizing. Took the money away. He wouldn't shut up. Then they stopped letting all the people that subscribe get notifications. People just go to his channel. So they can't suppress him. They've been trying for 3 years. So now they come out, just like they say Rammstein is Nazi because it's German. And they show him next to Heinrich Himmler, but it's an actor from Heinrich Himmler, the Nazi head of the SS, and say, look, he's wearing similar glasses. And oh, look, they were calling him a Nazi. He joked and said, hail Pewdiepie. This is the stuff they've got. They say, oh, he's got a short haircut. It's not even the same haircut as Himmler, but it's the high and tight haircut that most people have. It's been popular for about 10 years. It's the one that David Beckham and everybody popularized. And it's an old 1920s, 1930s haircut. Both my grandfathers had that haircut. Hell, I've got that haircut. Does that mean I'm a Nazi? No. It means I don't like messing with my hair all day. So they talk about how over time he changed his hairstyle. Well, yeah, in 2011, that was the hairstyle to have a little bit longer hair, like Ashton Kutcher or whatever his name is. 2016, it's all the rage to have the hair shorter. And now the style's even shorter. You walk in a barber shop, there's black guys, there's Hispanic guys, there's white guys, all getting the same haircut. I haven't gotten a haircut in like 3-4 weeks, so it's about time to get one. But it's the haircut Pewdiepie's got. And it's not because he's a Nazi. Now, see, this is, and the left knows this. Why are they going after him? Because he's the biggest thing in the world. Just 30 years ago, before the internet, if you wanted to have music, if you wanted to have your own band, if you wanted to have your own radio show, there were mafias, basically, corporate mafias that would come after you. In pro wrestling, there were regions that nobody could come into unless you were part of that group or you'd get your house burned down. But the internet has allowed the media to be broken up. So all the old Sumner Redstones, all the big Viacom heads, all the big CBS heads, the News Corps heads, they're really threatened and upset. They thought they would always control the internet. They'd use it as a minor league training fishery or nursery to find the talent to get it. But see, people don't want that. I didn't want to be hired by big corporations and controlled. I was offered up to $10 million a year. I didn't want to be told what to say. PewDiePie, he is, with the youth, 20 times bigger than I've ever been. That's great. They can't stand that, though, you see. They want a monopoly. And just like this Me Too movement can be projected on anybody they want, this whole thing of being a Nazi can be projected. And now they've got thousands of publications a week saying, we deplatformed Alex Jones. It's in the articles. We can do it to PewDiePie. But others say, like this headline, it's up on Infowars.com, why YouTube's biggest star can't be canceled, New York Mag. And they go through this and say he laughed at someone who was and approved of a Nazi. The guy plays video games for hours every day online. A guy walks by with some weird Rabbi Shekel name. PewDiePie laughs every time somebody gets shot. That's what you do. He snickers, and it's like a laugh track. That's all he does is laugh. And then because some guy had a name, Rabbi Shekel shoots somebody in the head. We're showing it to your TV viewer, and this becomes the total proof. Like playing Rammstein, or having a short haircut, or wearing wireframe glasses that aren't even the same shape as Heinrich Himmler's. By the way, he is a Northern European. He does kind of have a shaped head, a little bit like Himmler's. And so if you have there's probably 4 or 5 shapes of heads. If you happen to have that shape of head, a lot of black guys have that shape of head too. If you happen to have that shape of head, that kind of rectangular shaped head, that you want to wear smaller glasses. But everybody knows that. He walks in a sunglass hut, they're going to, what do you think's best? Well, let's take you over here, sir. They're going to take you over those glasses because that's what looks good with that shape of head. That turns into Nazi, and the New York Times, everyone's, the Southern Poverty Law Center, George Soros is just breathlessly, we got to, no, the reason you don't like him is because he has power and viewers, and nobody likes you. No one wants your university force-fed tyranny.
And by every time you retweet one of these things, or every time you promote this idea, you are promoting ignorance, racism, genocide, anti-Semitism. These are all things that you are putting forward when you are doing anything that promotes PewDiePie. So be careful about this. If someone decided to, if something were to happen, if PewDiePie were to be sued for this, you could be complicit. If you retweet it, they could make you pay a fine as well, because you have officially published anti-Semitic things. So if you are republishing this stuff, you could get in trouble for it. Be very aware that that is a real thing.
So the corporate media, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Media Matters run by George Soros, a real Nazi collaborator who said that he had the best time of his life helping round up Jews, called it happy making time on 60 Minutes. They are moving to take PewDiePie off the air. Thousands of news articles. Oh, look at his wireframe glasses. They look like Himmler's. He's got a short haircut. He's from Sweden. On and on and on. Oh, he was playing a video game once on TV, and out of thousands of hours he does a year, multi-hours a day, and some guy walked by with a handle named Rabbi Shekels, whatever that means, and PewDiePie laughed when somebody got shot, so that means he's a Nazi. That's the level of this control. And why is this so important? Because the establishment is making its move on everyone's free speech right now. The story is getting bigger and bigger, and it's really important because people are standing up for PewDiePie and this incredible leftist censorship. And the audio you just heard, if you're a radio listener, is from video posted to Infowars.com by Paul Joseph Watson. Video, unhinged history teacher claims PewDiePie is promoting genocide. You talk about defamation, then threatening the middle school students that they will get sued, that they will be fined if they share this man's genocidal links. Meanwhile, the New York Times today says that human extinction would not be a bad thing, that all humans are bad, and that we should reduce the world's population. That's not Nazi at all. PewDiePie, who's done nothing, he's the Nazi because he's popular, And he has 100 billion views and 100 million subscribers and is the #1 individual on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. That's why, because these big corporations don't have any viewers. Obama gives a speech. It has 5,000 views on YouTube. Anderson Cooper does a daily show on Facebook. It literally has no more than 10,000 viewers. They paid him $18 million for it. And PewDiePie in the last 4 years was the #1 star. YouTube and Disney tried to buy him out, tried to make him do things that he didn't want to do. So he said, no, thank you. So they demonetized him. Just like we have seen done over and over again with Ted Nugent can fill up stadiums of 20,000, 40,000 people. He's been told, stop supporting Trump and we'll let you play in stadiums again. But only 3 companies own the big stadiums. And so Ted Nugent can't play basically anywhere except city-owned coliseums like Waco. And it's totally packed. But because he won't play ball, he loses $15 million a year. That's directly from Ted Nugent. I looked it up in publications. It's true. Think of the sacrifice. Trump's lost $2 billion since he ran for office with all the boycotts and lawsuits and attacks. PewDiePie has lost, in the last 4 years, it's estimated over $70 million. And some will say, well, okay, he's already rich. The point is that he's staying to his integrity. And most people sell out, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Charlie Chaplin could joke around and say he was a Nazi and engaged in satire. So could John Cleese. That's okay, but Hitler Dog does it. He's banned. These people want to control all knowledge. They want to control all comedy. It's absolute, total, and complete nauseating garbage. But it gets worse from there. New York Magazine laments PewDiePie appears to be too popular to ban. Meanwhile, PewDiePie fans hacked the Wall Street Journal yesterday and apologized to PewDiePie for the horrible article they wrote that basically Vox copied the controversy over YouTube star PewDiePie and his anti-Semitic jokes explained. And then it shows the jokes. He's walking through a multiplayer game, walks by thousands of people a day in these shoot-'em-up games, and he laughs every time somebody gets shot because one of them had a handle, Rabbi Shekels, it's over. Look, he cut his hair shorter. That's the Wall Street Journal's main evidence. And then he had wire-frame glasses like Heinrich Himmler. It's all over, ladies and gentlemen. And he's a right-wing troll, they say. No, they're all just fabulously jealous. They're fabulously angry. Look at this alchemy they engage in. PewDiePie, The Guardian, thinks death to all Jews is a joke. Are you laughing yet? And that's because the handle of a guy he walks by in a video game can somehow be connected to somebody saying death to all Jews. How does Rabbi Shekels do that? And because he's in a video game with thousands of other players and someone's named that, it's like walking by somebody on the street or driving by somebody that's got a Nazi sticker. And then you are the bad person. This is the culture police. They are the real Nazis. They are the digital Nazis at Vox and the London Guardian and the New York Times and New York Magazine. They are funded and run by a real Nazi collaborator, George Soros. They're connected to the intelligence agencies that took 30,000+ Nazis out after World War II and protected them. PewDiePie has no connection to Nazis. I have no connection to Nazis, except both my grandfathers were in the Army Air Corps and both almost died. My only connection to Nazis is they almost made me not exist. But if I help round up Jews like George Soros, I'd be getting awards. You see, that's how they do it. They hide at point-blank range and say you are what they are. Hillary's paid off with the Russians. They say Trump is. Mainstream media hates America, selling us out. They say I hate America. It's that simple. Let's go another clip here. PewDiePie laughs at Rabbi Shekels shooting someone in a game. Again, there's all these players shooting each other. One guy's got a name over his head. They've all got names over their heads saying who they are. And because he laughed, well, he's a bad guy. Here it is.
You sound a lot like PewDiePie. I'm, of course, skeptical because I've been on the internet for a while.
You've been on the internet for a while.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, hey, man, I really appreciate your content. You've gotten me through some tough times, and I respect the
I didn't say anything.
Oh, no!
Yeah,
You just shot him! Okay, Jim! Come back here!
So he's wearing VR goggles. He's laughing, ha ha, you just shot him. I can't even hardly see or even see Rabbi Shekels on there. I get lost in all the shooting. But this is the total mental illness. But the left isn't mentally ill. They're telling school children nationwide, it's been in the news, in every public school, from middle school up, in college. I have quite a bit of friends who have daughters and granddaughters in college. They've all come back, that must be daughters, and said, my God, I'm in journalism class about to graduate. They call us in and say, Alex Jones is pure evil, and if you ever support him, you'll be put in jail. And he's a racist. And it's happening at public schools, and it's in newspapers they do this. Everywhere. And it's the same thing with PewDiePie. We just played the video. If you share him, you're going to get sued, and you might go to jail, and it's all over. This is what they're doing, and they're traumatizing students, telling them they're Nazis, and they want genocide, and they want to kill people, all because the left follows orders. And they see the New York Times and the Washington Post say PewDiePie's a bad guy, and they all, like attack dogs, run into those classes. They're putting InfoWars, and yours truly, Alex Jones, officially in curriculum nationwide. It's all in the newspapers. And they go in there and they teach lies about me and say things I never said and take them out of context to demonize the First Amendment in journalism classes and teach the classes how to be censors, priming them for the universities to be good little Nazis. No, if anybody acts like Nazis, it's the dirtbag left. And whoever that teacher is trying to terrorize their students. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the globalists are making their move on America and on anybody popular they don't control. Michael Savage is going from 3 hours to 1 hour, and in 3 months, they're going to get rid of him. That's the inside baseball. They're replacing him on these stations where he has #1 ratings with Ben Shapiro, who's the never-Trumper neocon. They're getting rid of all the opposition to the globalist takeover ahead of it. And KAHI, our Sacramento radio station, getting huge ratings with us. You saw the big national push by Soros Group, by others to attack our stations, make up lies, send them BS, tell them we said things we didn't say, to then remove us off air and say that, you know, we're fake news, we're fiction. That's more tortious interference. It's more defamation with intentional to do harm. And it's just more of these people are racking up. But this is the war. So that's why you need to call every radio station we're on and thank them and explain that you've got George Soros and the Democrat dirtbags doing this, and become a sponsor or send them $100. But whatever you do, paint the side of your barn about the local station, because that's what they're doing. That's what these leftist terrorists are doing, is terrorizing the First Amendment everywhere. They're turning the whole country into what they've done to the anti-free speech universities. This is what they do. Now, we probably gained 50 radio stations since the mass banning 4 months ago. And that's what they're pushing back against, is that a lot of this backfired. And a lot of our station owners and managers totally get what's happening. They're aware of what's going on. But we need to see, let's put that radio station in Sacramento back up, push back on this nicely to them. Say, hey, don't listen to these globalists. Don't listen to the left. Call the board of directors. It's a Christian station. Tell them, stand with the truth. Don't stand with these evil globalists. www.kahi.com. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Everywhere they're moving against free speech. kahi.com. Regardless, we're getting more stations in California. Call stations in your area. If you don't have a local station, call them all and say, listen, pick up Alex Jones. Get the truth out there. Learn what's going on. This is riveting, powerful, pro-liberty talk radio. Now, remember, PewDiePie, who I was getting into, adults are like, who's that? Well, he's a 30-something-year-old now guy from Sweden who's got 100 million views out there and 100 million subscribers. And there's now this giant Indian global consortium, like out of Ready Player One, that has hundreds of thousands of people on the payroll to go out and make themselves #1, basically with fake subscriptions, bots, you name it. So they've now gotten a little bit ahead of him. There's a race for who's going to be the biggest. But the point is that the globalists, big corporations, are trying to crush competition everywhere. I put this video out this morning at Infowars.com. As adults, you're not into PewDiePie. But for your young teenagers and others who already are, it shows solidarity with the liberty movement, with people like PewDiePie who are being censored, and it gets young people aware of what's happening. PewDiePie has been defending Infowars for several years when we've been under attack. He's gone and played the actual clips of what we say versus what they say about us. And so he's pro-free speech. That's why we've got to work together when this type of stuff's happening. So here is the video I shot this morning. Everyone must subscribe to PewDiePie in his war against the tyrannical T-Series right now. A giant corporation out of India is trying to get the #1 slot on YouTube. The New York Times, the New York Magazine are all calling for him to be removed off of the air because they hate independent media. This is like Ready Player One for real, ladies and gentlemen. The whole global corporate system trying to bring down PewDiePie. He's the next target. So all Info Warriors have got to go to YouTube right now and subscribe, make him too big to ban. I'm Alex Jones, and this is the Info War.
Bitch, lasagna, bitch, lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but a bitch, lasagna, bitch, lasagna, bitch, lasagna. Look at T-Series, they just crying for their mama.